Hello and welcome to Fire Them Cannons Arsenal podcast. I'm Cal, that's Anton, and this is episode 11, second number into the double digits. How are you going, Anton?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
wait,
good. I'm good.
before I even ask you how you're
Mm.
going, before we even get into it, please like and subscribe as it helps support the channel. And as you can see, Anton's done up a new layout for us and it looks absolutely fantastic. We have a scan for Cal, to subscribe to CalGunner TV, which is my personal channel, and scan to HotSport, which is Anton's channel. So that's really cool. Scan the QR codes, and yep, little subscribe button at the top left as well, which is pretty awesome. So how you doing?
Yeah, good. I mean, can't wait to get some football back. The international break has been grueling, but you know what? I gotta tell you, being on the terrace and stuff like that, it's gotten me into watching some of these international games. It's been a joy. I watched both England games last week, so
Yeah, I watched
keep myself
both
entertained.
games as well.
But yeah. Now, how have you been, my friend? I know you're heading off soon, going to overseas.
Yeah, going to Japan as soon as the international break ends. I'm not sure if I'm going to be on the plane when Arsenal play, but I'm definitely, you know, I wish the timing was that I'd be in Japan during the international break, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way. But I was just getting ready. I leave in about today is Wednesday. I leave Saturday morning.
Hours. I do that too.
Yeah, so I'm counting that down. I'm pretty excited. So yeah, I've actually been looking at like data plans and stuff as well to see how much data, because I know I'm going to use more data just because.
User, we're gonna give some. We're gonna give some advice to our to some of our live chat here, which is use international eSIMs like Airlo is a really good one. I used it when I went to Indonesia earlier this year. Another good one is
Football Terrace is in the chat. Yes, boys. That's either Terry or
that is Terry.
A
shout out to the Football Terrace.
TFT.
Yeah, and by the way as well, we're doing collaborations with the Football Terrace, as you guys all know, because we both appear them very often, and we thank Terry and KJ and stuff for all their help in supporting us as we grow as a channel. So very much appreciated to you.
Yeah, and it's fun ride, man. Just talking about football. Just at the airport.
Yeah. Terry. So Terry's going to Ireland. For everybody who wants to get peek into his personal life. And so we got everyone's leaving overseas. I feel a bit jealous. Got Terry's going to Ireland. Positive Dan is just in Turkey right now, and my boy Cal is going to be heading to Japan. So
wow, why is everyone doing it now? The only reason I'm going now is because of how cheap the Jetstar flights were. They were like $400 return, so everything was planned around how cheap those flights were.
Yeah. Anyway, we might as well talk about some Arsenal, huh?
Yeah, man. So, wait, hold up. Give me a second. Very unprofessional. I forgot what's the first thing on the menu. It's too caught up. Yeah, well, to be honest, I made a video about this as well on my personal channel, and it's something that's probably been one of the biggest discussions. The ØDEGAARD injury, kind of. So we saw that he's been getting injured every single game, which is very, very upsetting. We just want him to get a good string of games together, especially because, let's face it, Buzzcut ØDEGAARD is just a different beast. He's like Ronaldinho with the bandana, I'm not taking it too far. I was gonna piss a lot of people off. But like, it's
that was me.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. So he, we got that clash of knees in the West Ham game, and we knew it was an MCL, but we've gotten I think Sammy Makbel made a post and he basically gave us an update, and it's gonna be he's not gonna come back before the next international break. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, obviously I think it's a bit unfortunate, and I feel like too many of us jump to the implications, or like what the team is going to look like with him gone, and Is this a good chance for Eze and all this stuff? Will Arsenal play better without him? But I actually want to point out it's been a very frustrating season, I think, so far for him. Like, I feel for the guy. Like, he has not really gotten his season underway. Like, her first home game against Leeds, hurts his shoulder. He's away injured for a little bit of time, comes back, plays a couple good games for Norway, actually, then gets injured in the first half against Nottingham Forest. Then he plays a really, really good game upon his return against Olympiacos, and we thought, oh yeah, we're seeing Martin Odegaard back to his best. In the very, very next game at home, and he has that clash of knees against West Ham. So, like,
it's just a freak accident as well. The fact
yeah,
that just
and by the way, none of this stuff, people go like, oh, why is Arteta rushing him back? I'm like, first of all, it was it was a shoulder, right? So they got a shoulder, and that, which was not a big injury, and neither was the re-injury of the shoulder. But the second one is a knee. It's got nothing to do with the shoulder. So what, he's rushing him back from what?
Yeah.
So, like, it's just very unlucky. Unfortunate. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's a contact injury, and he's just been very unlucky. Like, going back to even last season. I mean, after he came back, though, he put together a run of being healthy, but not a good run of form. And so, like, yeah, since he was literally at his best in 23-24, literally his best season of his career, and he starts off the season pretty well last year, picks up the injury, and his performances were never really back to it at all. And all the criticism he gets, people forget how great of a player this player is. Like, one thing I would always like say to some of my friends who are trying to get into football, I was like, just put on a YouTube compilation of Martin Odegaard. It is literally like, it will make you really, really excited to watch football. It will show you, like, the beautiful side of the game, because
sometimes his vision is absolutely, like, when he's ticking, man, some of those passes,
his vision, like, his ability on the ball, the turns, like, he is an incredible player.
And I forgot, to be honest with you, because he hasn't been, at the level that we want him to be at, for the past, I say 18 months or so. It was really, it's almost like I forgot how good he was, So this season when he came on, it was like, oh crap, I forgot this is what this guy's capable of. You know what I'm saying? Like, I maybe I'm a bit. Some people aren't as forgetful as me. I think a lot of football fans are a bit forgetful. But yeah, we saw glimpses into the old Odegaard when he came back up. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but to be honest, there is a silver lining, and I think the silver lining is the squad depth that we have. We are capable of dealing with this. This is not something that we were able to do last season at all, because he was injured for portions of last season, and he was playing off form. But we have a squad now where Waneri,
think about the difference between a year ago and now.
Yeah, this is like Waneri just started to like play football for Arsenal last year. It was like his first couple of appearances. Now he has like a year of being in the first team under his belt, and he actually looks better in the 10 than he did last year. And we have one of the most dynamic, creative players in the league in Eze playing for us, who can play on that left-hand side. And he looks absolutely fantastic as a 10 for us. And we saw what that looks like for the first half of that Newcastle game. So what are your thoughts on our squad depth, and how are we able to deal with this Odegaard injury? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you point out a really good point about Ethan. The only question is just like Arteta's usage of Ethan is just, I don't even have a word to explain his usage.
It's just usage.
It's very good. Like, whenever he has the opportunity to really play Ethan, and we're going to talk about some, up and coming, really good players who are really coming through that Arsenal are looking at in the transfer window in the late part of the show, right? And I feel like Ethan is like one of our versions of that. So I'll just say a name. Like, you were talking about Kenan Yildiz. I was watching a video about Kenan Yildiz, and I'm like, they put faith in that kid in the biggest games right away, and it really helped with his development, where he started growing like some real confidence. Sometimes I wish that Arteta would give that same confidence to some of our youngsters, He did it with Miles, and let's give him credit for doing it with Miles, because he did put Miles in the biggest games of last season against some of the best wingers in the world. So definitely big up for that. Max Dowman, of course, is just very, very premature. But the one that just confuses the heck out of me is Ethan, because if we started Ethan Wanieri, this is I'll be honest, right? I would start Ethan Wanieri and Eze. That way, I feel like we have a stronger creativity, and we have a better presence out on the left hand side. But coming back to my original point, when we were in Odegaard's original injury last season, you know who was playing in the 10? Leandro Trossard. Like this year, who's playing in the 10? Most likely Eze or Mikel Merino, but I joke.
Well, you're not joking. It's like Mikel Merino isn't done playing as a 10 for us.
Yeah, I know. And I was speaking of Terry, who's just in the chat. I was on the match reaction this morning, and he was going on about how amazing Mikel Merino is because he scored the 2 goals. And I'm like Terry, please do not.
I think I have my opinion's changed. My opinion has changed on Moreno a little bit. I was just watching him. I've been watching him. I have 2 things on your takes on Ethan and Moreno. Okay, so first of all, I think he's using Ethan just fine. I think Ethan shouldn't be playing that much football in the first team just yet. Kenan YILDIZ is like 3 years older than Ethan. Like that's that's a lot of time in terms of just not only mental but physical development. I don't think we should be crashing it on Ethan because he is smaller framed. I don't think he thing about MLS. I think why MLS got so much trust as well last season is because his body, I think, is just further developed than Ethan's as well. And have you noticed? Even though I think it's pretty obvious that MLS is a higher ceiling than Calafiori, in my opinion, he's not being used that much because I think Arteta is trying to be. He's going to slowly integrate them into the team. He's not rushing with them, and I think it's the right approach. So I'm not worried about Ethan, especially because I know he's going to play in the cup competitions. So yeah,
but don't you think though that like Arsenal's lineup would be stronger if you had Ethan and Eze versus, let's say, Trossard and Eze?
Potentially, but I don't think he's thinking about. I think if we were only playing Premier League games, sure, like if we were out of all competitions, but I think long-term strategy, I think he's trying to utilize more of his squad, which makes sense to me. At the end of the day, our wingers are Leandro Trossard and Martinelli, and they need game time. They just need game time to be match fit, and if we want them to continue to be fit, hungry, and make impacts off the bench, they just need to play. And Eze needs to play. So he's going to be playing. He's going to be in that 10 position. So when you think about the fact that our wingers need game time, and let's face it, they're just more developed and more. They're more developed and more Premier League ready than Waneri. Doesn't matter if Waneri outpaces them in terms of talent. And the fact that Eze is a win now prime time player that just needs to play. I think we should be starting Ethan in the Carabao Cup games and maybe subbing him on. I think maybe, against this Fulham game, if we're up like 3-0 and you have 30 minutes left, you put Ethan on to get him some minutes. I think Ethan and MLS right now, what we're doing is that we're managing their minutes. We're not going to wear them down because these are very long-term solutions for the club. Like these guys, in terms of talent, we don't like having them in the squad is amazing, but they should not be talisman yet.
Right.
That's for the future. So I think he's managing it pretty well. On Moreno, I think I'm going to give Moreno a little bit more time because when I'm watching him play, without watching back the games, without the anger of seeing him in the lineup, he's a liability defensively, but first of all, he actually takes more risks he actually is a risk taker, which is something I like. He is willing, even if he screws up sometimes, he's willing. Sometimes he puts through some really sick like through balls and stuff, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. And his clinical edge is something that you kind of just can't ignore. In terms of look at the 2 headers that he scored, you know, for Spain, and look at the header he scored for us against
Newcastle.
And the thing is, I don't know if you've noticed this.
I mean, his scoring record is insane. I think he's got 18 goals in all comps since basically Arteta put him at striker last year.
Yeah,
like
so it's
like for both club and country.
Yeah, and the thing, like when I'm watching Zubimendi as well, Zubimendi, like I don't know if you've noticed, but Zubimendi's cross from the midfield into the box, like he's not taking set pieces, but like during transition,
Are you
like
talking about for Spain?
No, for us.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it doesn't come off.
His role for Spain is a lot more expansive than he is for us.
Yeah.
Zubi.
Yeah, but like Zubimendi has a wicked cross on him into the box. And I think that pairing between Zubimendi and Moreno is something that Arteta kind of just wants. So I'm willing to give it time. He just needs,
of course, as long as 2 players who know each other inside and out.
Yeah.
Played together
for
so many years at Sociedad, with Spain, now with Arsenal, like they're best of friends. So
for me, as long as he's not sacrificing the game for Moreno, I think I'm happy with him coming on and doing stuff, but he should definitely be starting Eze now. I think without a shadow of a doubt, he'll be starting Eze.
Because that's what I was trying to say to Terry it was a little bit tongue in cheek. I was like, we're going on 15 minutes about Mikel Moreno scoring. I'm like, if Arteta's watching this, you know, I'm like, Eze scored too. I want you to talk about Eze's goal for 15 minutes as well. So that
yeah. But we kind of, I think Moreno getting kind of turned into a goal scorer is not something anyone saw, and it actually is Arteta's idea. Like, let's face it, he wasn't doing that for Spain before, really. So yeah. On talking about, because we were talking about, you know, how we're going to handle that ØDEGAARD injury, as a nice kind of segue, you know, we can't talk about how we're going to play without talking about who we're going to play and our upcoming fixtures. Our next game is, you know, against Fulham, which is a bit of a bogey team. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, well, look, I think Aaron put it very nicely today on, I wouldn't say nicely, but very bluntly, on when he was speaking earlier today on Straight Facts, and that is just that a lot of these teams are teams that we've had some difficulty with. Like, I'll roll it down for you. Last year against Fulham was a draw. The year before that was a loss. Last year against Crystal Palace, I think that was a draw. Brighton, we definitely was a draw because we were sent down to 10 men. And then you got Burnley and Sunderland in there, who are teams that, you know, that are come up from promotion. Sunderland traditionally, now of course we're talking about in the days of Arsene Wenger, and I believe Sam Allardyce was the manager for Sunderland and stuff. Arsenal struggled traditionally away at Sunderland when they were a fully established Premier League side that were, you know, regular every single year. We always used to struggle away at Sunderland as well. So, look, the way I would say that the ØDEGAARD thing affects it, it could be a good thing. By the way, Eze against Crystal Palace is going to be a exciting matchup next week. But I don't want to overlook that. But you pointed this out, and so I kind of used this point when I was speaking about when I was on the Top 6 show yesterday. Eze's effect on the game is different. Like, his version of creativity is different to that of Martin ØDEGAARD. Eze is more assertive and more aggressive. Eze will take the shot. So while ØDEGAARD has this thing about let's retain possession. We don't want to give the team the ball back yet. Let's create a really nice clear-cut chance before we shoot, sort of thing. That's why he's kind of changed a little bit, and I think it's because maybe because his form has dropped off and he isn't not as confident in his ability to shoot as he used to be, because he used to be more of a trigger puller. But back to the point that you made, which was our opening goal, Declan Rice against West Ham, you know, it's 0-0 in a fixture that has been 0-0 a lot at home against West Ham, and we broke the door down because Eze decided to take a shot which the keeper had to save, and it spilled to Rice. So that's an extra opportunity of goal that was created, an avenue that is not Arsenal's normal avenue. So the Eze style might actually just be something that is good to experiment with in terms of different ways of breaking down these sides. They're obviously going to come to try to stop us attacking. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because considering you're the one who brought that up, like that was from when you were on Gunners of Therapy. You brought up that point about Eze.
Yeah, obviously, Eze is definitely much more of an attacking player, and you know, it's actually, as you were talking about that, I actually realized that Ethan Waneri is more similar to Eze in terms of his aggressiveness, but he's actually, when I've seen him this season, plays a lot like Odegaard in terms of his ability to kind of drop a little bit and progress the ball. So he's kind of like becoming like a hybrid between the two, which is actually really, really exciting and interesting to see.
But that's perfect.
Because
That's perfect squad symmetry,
and he's
isn't it?
and he's good. He's good at it as well. So, but yes, Eze is way more direct than Odegaard, and he's willing to, you know, take that risk and take those shots, which is something that we definitely need, because it means that, you know, he becomes a threat, and that opens up us for wing play. Because let's face it, we are a wing dominant team. That's how we create most of our chances, and that's and if we can free up our wings, we can get the best winger in the league in Bukayo Saka to go 1v1 and actually cause some havoc. So yes,
that's the point of this, and I guess we'll let you maybe speak first on how you feel about the fixtures upcoming up. But I just kind of, before then, I wanted to point out, maybe this is something we'll talk about later on in the show as well, that Eze obviously was originally brought to the club to fill a void on the left-hand side. So obviously we looked at, you know, Rodrigo, we looked at Leao and those types of players that play out on the left, and the player that we ended up really wanting in the end, or being able to attain, because obviously Rodrigo decided to stay at Real Madrid, was Eze. And obviously we've spoken on this pod multiple times about how excited we were to have Eze playing on the left. And now we still have Eze, but he's moved centrally, which a lot of people believe is his best, most comfortable position. But it leaves us back to where we were before with our options out on the left, which is Martinelli and Trossard. What are your sort of like your thoughts on the knock-on effect, not necessarily at the 10, but I think more on the left-hand side of Odegaard's being gone for a long period of time?
I mean, Martinelli and Trossard, I don't think they are good enough, but I think they're serviceable, and we have enough to deal with it. You know, we've been dealing with it because, you know, through Saka's injury and Odegaard's injury before, and I think we'll continue to deal with it, because we don't. That's literally the only missing piece, and we will be fine. You know, like I can't, like, with Eze and Saka on that pitch, with Gyökeres as well, you know, like and Declan Rice's ball striking ability, our set pieces, like we have so much creativity and ability to score goals that, you know, Trossard and Martinelli not being you know, top level quality for us long term, because yes, Martinelli has been good for us this season. He's come off the bench and he's scored some big goals, and we know Trossard's ability as well, but we know that these guys are not super long term solutions. You know, if we all want, you know, we would all want a, you know, Saka like, or mini Saka on the left hand side. I know it's hard, but we want that left hand side is obviously there's a little drop in quality, but we can manage. Not every squad is perfect, you know.
I mean, because obviously you were somebody who, we can replay the tapes on this podcast, who was very much doubting that about Martinelli's ability to start, or you didn't really want to see him start on the left hand side ever again. He's obviously come on and made an impact in certain games, like, especially, you know, that game away at Bilbao and the game.
I don't think he should start. I don't think he should start any game, Martinelli. Yeah. I think it's pretty
you haven't
obvious.
Necessarily changed your opinion on that?
No, I think he's a guy that should come on when on tired legs. You know, run. He's a road runner. Just tired legs. you go out there and run, boy, run. You know, he doesn't affect the game from at the start of games for me.
Yeah, but what's interesting though, so if you've seen, he scored for Brazil, I believe it was today or yesterday, when they played, he actually scored, making a run from the middle, from the central areas. So I'm wondering if he has a future, especially with some of the injuries we've got through the middle. Like we've only really got Gyökeres fit, and we'll get on to him in a second because we'll talk about some of the international performances of our players. But Gyökeres still, like, Sweden didn't manage to score a goal in either of their matches between him and Isak. But Isak's not our business. But like Martinelli is somebody who could play through the middle and provide a spark for the middle if needed as well. Like, because as well, both of his goals that he scored for us, those important ones, were centrally this season as well. So
yeah. I think he, man, I don't think so, dude. Honestly, I think
okay.
I think
well,
with
look,
I think I don't think he should be playing. I think Havertz is better than him and down the middle, and I think Moreno's better than him as a striker as well. And we have Gyökeres. I think, yeah, I don't think so. And even when Jesus comes back, I want Jesus to get a couple of minutes so we can sell him.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was actually thinking, like,
but in terms
are we
of
going to sell Jesus in January? Like,
but in terms of the fixture list, the upcoming fixture list, are you worried? I'll just run through some of the teams. So we have Fulham, Sunday. Saturday 18th, and then we have we go to
the
Champions League. We have Atletico, and then the weekend after that, it's Crystal Palace, and then Brighton. And getting into November, we have Burnley, Slavia. This is going to be a nice run, in my opinion. Like, we'll play Burnley, Slavia, Sunderland, and then we have and then Tottenham Hotspur, and that just gets into deep November. But in terms of, let's say, the next 4 games, which is Fulham, Atletico, Crystal Palace, and Brighton. How do you feel about that?
So this is how I feel. This is an incredible opportunity because if you can look at, let's say, for instance, Man City and Liverpool will play each other in a few weeks as well. Along this, I believe it's, who are we playing on that same week? Is that the Crystal Palace weekend, or is it the
which weekend?
Right, when Chelsea play, when City host Liverpool. So like that's the thing for me. This is the thing about these fixtures. It's a nice mix of teams that we're not going to overlook, teams that we have a point to prove against, that we didn't pick up 3 points against last year, which I think fits the mold of Arsenal right now, which is like, we want to kind of go back and seek revenge. I would use that term over teams that we should have beaten last year, and we end up having a draw or losing to, and it crippled our title chances last year. Like Declan Rice getting sent off against Brighton at home crippled our title chances from almost the start of the season. And we're going to have that on this run. Crystal Palace, of course, the player who scored for Crystal Palace is now playing for Arsenal, but they helped us last season. What?
They've been playing amazing football.
Yeah, they also have been playing amazing football. So again, that's not an easy one, but I'm happy it's at the Emirates.
And they took a game off Liverpool.
Fulham, as I said, ruined my New Year's last year. 2 years ago.
Mine as well.
This last one, we scraped a draw. And then again, the other one, which is, who else is in that run that's also along the line? I said Sunderland, as in we've had tricky times in the past, but those are completely different teams and managers on both sides. So yeah, but I think those three in particular. And then you got Atletico Madrid, which is an interesting tactical matchup in the Champions League, which I think is a completely different kettle of fish. Like, we started off really well in the Champions League. I don't know what we could talk about this later. What you think about Diego Simeone and against Arteta, which will be a very interesting, could be a very, very what's the term that you like to use when it comes to some of those type of games?
Stinky.
Stinky. It could be a bit of a stink fest. Just in terms of the way both of those managers approach Europe. But this is a great opportunity, as the main point I'm trying to make here is to really open up a gap and create space. What we've done the last two weekends, which is capitalize on
Capitalize.
Liverpool's defeats, like not just draws, defeats. Liverpool's going to have a tricky one. I expect them to beat United, to be honest. And then after that, I can pull up Liverpool's fixtures, but I believe they've got City coming up.
I think people are sleeping on United, bro.
Yeah, well, I'm going to sleep on United so that they feel disrespected and help me out. But they got to go to Brentford next, and then they play Manchester. No, they play Villa at home. That's week 10. 11 match week 11. They play City, play Liverpool. They play each other, and that weekend we play Sunderland away.
Yep, that's a while away. That's like 5 games away.
But to put yourself in that position, you win those 3 tricky ties. They're not. I wouldn't. It's interesting to call them tricky because, as well, I think they're exciting. I think the idea that Arsenal have a bit between their teeth to go out and prove something against Fulham, similarly to how we did against Newcastle and West Ham, I think makes me feel excited. Obviously, Eze against Crystal Palace will be a high-profile game. It's going to be very, very exciting. I think for both sets of fans, really. I think Palace will be excited to obviously get to see Eze again, but obviously playing for the other team, so there's going to be a bit of an edge to it. I'm interested to see, by the way, how they receive him. Like, if, for instance, like Declan Rice is a legend for West Ham, and every time he gets the corner flag, they boo the heck out of him, which still confuses me to this day.
Crystal Palace are actually classy fans.
They are, but let's see.
Well, their online fans are, because when it was like the first time I've seen a club, like he won them their first big trophy, and they really were like clapping him. They were like, Arsenal, you guys signed a really good player. Eze, thank you for everything you've done. And like even the owners were classy in the way that they handled the transfer. Like, big up to Crystal Palace, because I think they're just
Spurs fans don't feel that way, but
they're just a class club. Like, it was just the way the fans, the manager, like everyone was just. The fans, the owner. I think everyone was.
Shout out to them as well, by the way, because not only did they give us Eze, they blocked the transfer of Gay to Liverpool, which has also been a massive help for us. So, but we're not going to be charitable. Thank you for that, but we still wanting the 3 points.
Whether he gets booed or not, I don't know. I don't think he's going to get booed. But even if he does, I think we definitely have the ability. And what you were saying before in terms of it being an opportunity to capitalize and put some distance. I think if we win all these games, I think we might have like a 5 or 6 point gap by December if we win all of them.
I mean, the fact that one of their games is the Man City and Liverpool play,
they're going to just take points off each other. So
that's massive. That's the advantage of our tough schedule. We played both of them. So we always said they were yet to play each other.
And then again, we dropped points in both of them. We got 1 point from those 2 games.
At the moment, we're talking.
No, but I expect them. What I'm saying that is when these big teams play each other, like, expect points to be dropped. So I think we have the ability to do it. I think we're gonna. I feel like this Fulham game is a big test. I feel like we're really going to see the intent. Like, if let's say we go out there and win this Fulham game convincingly, I don't expect us to drop points until like December, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's a big one, maybe because coming off of the international break, so it's always
coming off the international break and stuff, and we know Fulham. And like, if we can get out of there with a convincing win, I think we probably go unbeaten until like December or something, because after we play,
I mean, Brighton. Again, we'll talk about Brighton. Is also going to be a team that's playing.
For me, it's football.
Good for themselves.
Yeah, in my opinion, football is about momentum. Yeah, and we go out there and we beat Fulham. Yeah, and then I think that pushes us on to basically beat Crystal Palace, beat Brighton, beat Burnley, beat Sunderland, and then we play Tottenham at the Emirates, which is probably we're going to win that. So yeah, no. So
Yeah,
we
I
have
am as well.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
So I think this Fulham game is probably a good opportunity for us to build some momentum. I think if we win that, we go on a really nice run. And if we could go on a really nice run and create some distance, I think I'm going to be even more confident in saying that we're going to win the league.
yeah,
I think,
I think it's kind of the club showing you like this
yeah,
isn't last year's Arsenal.
yeah,
We put these
yeah,
teams to the sword. So
yeah,
these are the games. I'm going to be honest with you because obviously I've been the biggest Gyökeres defender, but these are the games we brought Victor Gyökeres to the club for, to turn draws into wins.
Well, to be, yeah, I like, okay, I'm,
But yeah,
yeah, no, you continue, I have too much, too much,
no.
too much to say.
I think we will on our segment talking about international on our international
Yeah,
performances. We can talk about Victor because I know you
yeah,
want to talk about Victor.
yeah,
But on the other side, what I'm trying to be like objective here, which is to say like these are the games that Victor Gyökeres was brought to Arsenal Football Club for. So like for all like I've done this before, where for all the times that people were criticizing Arteta and the negative tactics, I turned around and said I'm okay with it. But now in this game, I point out to Manchester City specifically, I need it to be different. Like, and again, it was about a week too premature because it wasn't until Newcastle that we started to play that way. So I'm still happy that we've made that change. We started to play that way. But now is a sort of like with Victor Gyökeres, which is like we're top of the league. Victor's only scored 3 in 8 in the Premier League. That means out of 11 overall competitions, it's far off of his form in Sporting or what we expected of him when we bought him. But I'm giving him the leeway of he's coming into a brand new league, trying to figure out different systems. All the attacking players and like around him are all rotating in and out, coming out with injuries. There hasn't been a real consistency. But now is the time where he needs to hit the ground running and starting to bag the goals. If we're drawing some of these games and or dropping points in any of these games and he hasn't registered or isn't carrying a threat in the game, that's when I'm going to start putting the microscope on him and being like, Victor, yeah, I don't even know. I only have the words for it because I'm going to have to see, but you get what I'm trying to say here.
Okay, I think this is a very, very good way to segue into the international performances, and we're just going to do a little segment on like what do we think of how our players perform internationally. I mean, we're both Australian, and we're not. I mean, I did watch Australian highlights, but international football isn't our thing. But I like
games, but
yeah. So when we watch these games, a lot of international football, we're really cheering on our players. And I watched the Sweden games, and I'm going to be brutally honest here. I'm worried. I'm really worried, man. Gyökeres looks like shit.
I mean, not to say that Isak is doing great either. I think
no, I don't care whether Isak performs or not.
At least they're dragging each other together,
Like Gyökeres, he looked absolutely terrible in those Sweden games. And it's to be honest with you, like I'm kind of like now, like I don't really care. We got Gyökeres he's the win now striker, so I want to win now. That's why we got him. That's why I wanted him over Sesko, because I thought I wanted a guy to come in here and make an impact immediately, because this was a must-win year for Arsenal Football Club. So if the guy who is, supposed to be a win now guy, who we were excited about being here because he scores a lot of goals, isn't scoring goals, that's a big problem for me. And for me, yes, the hold-up play is nice. I think he does help with the spacing in terms of keeping the defenders preoccupied, so that frees up Saka and all these guys. Like, there are other guys in world football we could get to do that. Like, we could have signed a guy for like 25 million to do that. Like, we didn't sign a bodybuilder. We signed him, and we were excited about him because he scores goals, and he scored the most goals in Europe. I'm not going to be disingenuous and just be a fanboy and just, make excuses for him and say, oh, look at all these other things we've done, because we can do the same thing with Havertz, in terms of all the off-ball things he does. I wanted Gyökeres because he puts the ball at the back of the net. And if he can if he can be in the right areas and put the ball at the back of the net, we win games. Scoring is the most difficult thing to do in football, and we got, I thought we got one of the best of the best, and I hope we did, but he needs to start showing it like right now, now. I think I would give him a lot more leeway if he was younger and he wasn't the win now guy. And if this was Sesko doing this, I wouldn't even be upset, because Sesko is a kid.
I would, because I would be like, we took this guy when we could have had Victor Gyökeres.
I wouldn't be
doing nothing. My attitude would been totally different, but because that was on Team Victor,
okay, just because it's not the guy I wanted doesn't mean I'm just going to crash it out. I always will provide context. Like, if Arsenal Football Club went and got Sesko, I'm not going to be mad at Sesko, and I'd understand that he needs time, and I'd be like, okay, this is a decision that the club made. I'd be mad at the club. Can't be mad at the club now. They went and got the players that they should be getting, and at the time, Gyökeres was 100% the right option to get. Now, he just needs to perform, and I don't really know how he's going to start putting goals in, but he needs to start. Hopefully, he scores against.
I think you kind of need to just go one step at a time rather than putting the cart before the horse. Because you just said the word goals. I think he needs to score a goal, hit the ball, hit the back of the net. See that.
He's already scored though. He's already scored.
But he scored. But now he's also been in a drought since then. So like, you realize he scored, but then again he scored 2 games later, right, against Forest. So like, it's just like he's going through a string of not scoring, and it's just one of these confidence things. Like that year, Kai Havertz, like we gave him a gift penalty. I think it was a Saka or Odegaard who handed him the ball, and like his confidence was completely shot. I've never seen a player have a lower sense of confidence than Kai Havertz when he first joined Arsenal. And just him getting that penalty, like all of a sudden, he was one of Arsenal's top scorers, and then on to the rest of the season, he became our main striker from there. Like, just sometimes you need to find that goal to change your body language, your confidence, and just feel a bit more comfortable in your environment. Sometimes when you're at a new job, and let's say you work in sales and you make that first big sale, everyone's like, yeah, good, like freaking awesome, you made that sale, and all of a sudden you feel big, you feel huge, like, okay. And that's just, I feel like that's what kind of he needs, and it can lift the roof off for him. Like, that's the way I feel. Like, I just feel like he's got to get all goal first, and then the other ones, let's see after that. But let's get on the score sheet to begin with.
I disagree.
Okay.
I think what you're saying is 100%.
That's what this podcast is for.
Yeah. I think what you're saying is 100% reasonable, by the way. That is a very balanced, reasonable take. I'm just not using that with Gyökeres. And I'm not saying what I'm going to say is unbalanced, but that sort of patience is someone I'd have if we bought Ekitike or we bought Sesko, 100%. But you're the big dog, okay? You won Sporting two league titles. You came to Arsenal. You wanted to be the big man. You went on strike. You took the number 14. You scored the most goals in Europe. I'm not hearing about you not have enough confidence. You know what I'm saying? I think when you are one of these players, I'm not like, the whole Kai Havertz situation is different, because we will literally start, like, he was never going to be a talisman type player for us. I did think we overpaid for him, but it's not something that he asked for. I think we just literally gave Chelsea that money, and and the fans didn't like him. like from the start. So the fans aren't really backing you, and you're coming into this Arsenal team and you're not playing your best football, and we literally had to change his position just so he can be a part of the team. So that's a completely different situation of a guy who's playing in his preferred position.
But it's more the idea of
I know,
just getting that first goal off.
I know what you're saying, but I said it's a balanced take, but like I just don't. I'm not buying this confidence thing. Blood score the goddamn goals, like now. Like
I kind of feel that way with you, though. By the way, like I wanted to see him get off the mark for Sweden, especially because these were must-win games. Like Sweden, to put to context, Sweden needed to win to be able to keep their hopes of qualifying for the World Cup alive. They've now been eliminated from the ability to qualify for the World Cup, which, by the way, probably works well for Arsenal because Gyökeres is not going to have a summer filled with a World Cup at the end of this year, which I guess.
I mean, I'm like worried about the World Cup when it happens.
That's not the point I'm going to make here, though. Even me, I'm starting to feel like I'm at the point here now where Gyökeres, you're going to have to start to deliver. That's how I kind of started this whole.
You need to have a monster second half of the season at this rate, bro, because this isn't working. Like you need to score right now.
I still feel the confidence that he will do that, and I feel like
and to be honest with you, like my problem, this is why I'm worried, right? It's not that, oh man, he's getting into these sick positions and it's just hitting the post. Bro can't even get a shot off. Like where like he's getting set up by Waneri, by Odegaard, by Saka, like these through balls, these insane through balls he's getting, and he's just getting bullied off the ball. He's not fast. He's just slow. His first touch is shit, So he's like through on goal, and instead of running towards the goal, he's running away from the goal.
It's a bit odd.
It's crap. He's not even getting his shot off. Like, and it's like, oh yeah, he's doing the link up play stuff. Because it's like, dude, I don't want you for link up play.
Gyökeres' first touch has always been sort of the main weakness in his game. Like he's got that bit of a loose first touch. He's like his the way he dribbles as well it's not very pretty, and
he's like a fucking lumberjack, bro.
He even in the seasons where he was scoring a lot, he would just be like,
the guy plays football with ankle weights, man. It's annoying. It's starting to annoy me.
Yeah, but which is why, though, for me, still he needs to be put in. I want to see him in the transition. Now we're not going to get that now because the teams we're playing, but no, I'm saying even when he was in the transition, he was dog shit. That's why I'm worried. Like when he's through on goal, he's like getting caught up, pushed off the way, dribbling. Like he's just not. It's not good. I've seen opportunities this season where he's like, this is the perfect ball, and he's doing nothing with it. I got mad at Moreno for doing it. I'm definitely going to be mad at bloody Gyökeres for doing it. Yeah, look, I think it's very balanced though, and I think we're allowed to be critical, be worried. It's genuine. When you watch as a fan, when you're worried about a player, especially ones that you're excited about, and they're not quite hitting there, it's a genuine human emotion to have. I'm never going to deny that from you, my brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very honest.
What's annoying to me is that if he plays to his level, we literally walk this league. So that's why I'm annoyed. Like if he plays, like imagine if we saw Sporting Gyökeres, we'd score.
That's what I'm saying though. That you can flip it on its head and say, this Arsenal team has far from reached their ceiling. There's so many places this team can grow from. We haven't even properly seen Crystal Palace as like we might get to see that now because he knows that if he gets that 10 role for a long year period of time that he might get that. But even the Eze you saw this morning for England, where he drops his shoulder and he beats a man like a 2-3 man, and then he puts it in the bottom corner. Like for that to be the last piece of action before he puts on an Arsenal shirt before this run, and where he's starting as our 10, that gets me excited. So,
which is why we're talking about these international games, because you watch Eze, you watch Moreno, you watch Zubimendi, you watch
You watch
you watch
Saka.
Saka. All our players are performing on the international level except
Victor. Even Trossard scored for Belgium.
I didn't even know that.
And Martinelli scored. Martinelli scored for Brazil.
Are you
As
kidding
I
me?
mentioned earlier. Yeah.
Dude, nah. Like, come on. Eucharist didn't score for Sweden once. That's a problem. That's a big problem for me.
But
He's a
as I said,
striker.
yeah. Look,
So you're telling me Saka, Eze, Marino, Trossard, Martinelli.
yeah, they all scored.
And Zubimendi was absolutely fantastic for Spain.
We might as well talk about everybody else because I think like we'll touch on it. So yeah, I'm just gonna go. So this is like the rundown. Denmark against Belarus. Norgard played 25 minutes. This is from Arsenal's website. Netherlands 4, Malta 0. Timber played 90 minutes. He kept a clean sheet. By the way, Van Dijk says after that game, by the way, that he believed that Jurgen Timber is the best fullback in the Premier League, which sparked sparked a topic on 6i yesterday.
Van Dijk saying that's a problem.
Yeah. And then, of course, England 3, Wales 0, game that both of us watched. Saka scored the third beautiful trademark Saka finish. But let's touch on that now that I brought that up. Cal, and I saw you made a video on CalGunner TV about
I literally
this.
made it out.
hit the QR code, take you to his channel, hit subscribe. Cal, just give us a bit of a sample of what you had to say about.
I was just talking about. I was just in the video. I was basically saying I'm done with arguing with people concerning Saka. I'm done with having the debates. Saka is world class, bro. This kid is world class. He's been doing it for too long. He's too consistent. Player of the year for England 2 years running, and he is the talisman. You know, he is the talisman. I was saying before that maybe Harry Kane's the talisman. I'm like, nah, it's Saka. Saka's the talisman for that England squad, and he's absolutely amazing. And this is why he gets double and triple teamed in the Prem, because they gave him a little bit of space, and this is what he's capable of. You know. And that goal, by the way, that you saw, Donnarumma saved that in the Champions League. I like you watched that second game of the Champs.
He did.
It was literally going top bins, and Donnarumma saved that, and I literally almost shat myself. And so for people who are saying that he didn't turn up in that game, you're mad.
But even before that though, I was marveling at his overall performance.
Of course.
Everything that England did positively in that game, Saka had a foot in. He was dictating everything. He was popping up on the left-hand side as well in certain attacks. He was linking it up. He played a big role in the Villa boys when they scored their goals before him. Like, Saka was just everywhere. He wasn't just man of the match because he scores a worldie of a goal. His overall display was world class and was that of a talisman for his nation.
Of course. Yep, he is. So I'm done with arguing with people to say that Saka's not world class. I'm done.
He's not even Ishii on the right wing. He's the best player England has. Like that's the thing that bothers me the most. So we're like, let's play Palmer on the right. Let's play Foden on the right. Let's play Madueke on the right. Let's play insert other players on the right. Like
this conversation. Don't talk about my.
No, but people were doing it though. Like he was injured, and people were like, I was getting questions. Hey, when Saka comes back, is he starting? I'm like, yes.
Sometimes you just have to be reminded, reminded why I plays a certain way, and he seems this international break. He looks every game you see him, he kind of looks like more of himself. So that's really, really good. By the way, if Saka didn't get injured last season, I think he would have definitely had the most big chances created. I think 3 months into Saka's injury, he was still first or second for big chances created in the league last season. I think if he didn't get injured last season, he would have had he was on one last season.
Even just this season, the timing of when he got injured this season, it was against Leeds, right? The next week after that was Liverpool, a game which was crying out for a player who's of individual quality like him
We probably
to
win
break
that game.
open a game like that. Yeah,
Probably.
Like Man City, he comes on as an emergency. He basically saves that game. Just him being there and Eze being there, coming on in the second half, just changes the whole vibes and energy of that team.
Yeah.
Like
that second half was absolutely like that wasn't funny for them. Like we got Pep playing 10 men, putting 10 men behind the ball. You know, it's funny about that Rodri made fun of us for doing it, you know, when we were down to 10 men. And then they did it with a full squad. But anyway, so yeah, our players, I think also want to touch on Zubimendi. I think Zubimendi is probably the most underrated signing of the entire summer transfer window. I think he's absolutely amazing. We saw a taste of what he to be honest, even though his role is slightly different for Spain, I think he's still a midfielder, right? So midfielders don't just come in and then, especially in the role that he's playing, and then full fire play to 100% his level. I think first of all, his physicality,
his level though, as
yeah,
well.
Yeah, his physicality helped him to adapt to the league pretty much instantly. So, and that's something that people were talking about. I remember during the summer transfer window when they were saying that how if is Zubimendi going to click? Is he going to adapt to the league? I thought
I was just thinking because someone was talking about the other day, right? Spanish players, when Spanish clubs come to play Arsenal in the Champions League, they take the physicality out of Premier League teams and they use it to their advantage. They're flopping all over the floor. They've got this like very like a dark artsy version of them. I don't think there have been many Spaniards have come to the Prem and really flopped. Like, they generally, the Spanish league is actually not. It's probably the second best league in the world. So there's not a big difference. You know what I mean?
My question was, I think it's one of the biggest questions for Zubimendi was the physicality, which is something that he's completely like, that's not a problem anymore. And I think watching him play for Spain, once he gets into rhythm with this team, which I don't think it's probably 70% there. I think once that gets to that 100% where he's able to be more dynamic, I think it's going to be really scary hours. And he's the guy that allows ØDEGAARD to look good, you know. So so we saw Zubimendi doing his thing. Obviously, we already spoke about Moreno being absolutely a phenom when it comes to scoring his header goals and having that impact. And I think he's going to continue to have that impact off the bench. And
although one thing I'll say, we'll go back on the Gyökeres thing for a second. Moreno is in better form in front of goal than Gyökeres at the moment.
I still would start Moreno.
No, but I'm just saying, like off the bench, offering you something different. Those.
Yeah. As a sub,
not from the 10. That's the part that I'm just like.
Then again, he did come on as a 10 against Newcastle and scored. So it works. It's been working recently, and as I said, against Olympiacos, he helped set up that goal, the first goal. You know, he did a line breaking pass to ØDEGAARD, who did a line breaking pass to. No.
The West Ham game, like just
yeah. No, was it West Ham?
Oh, you're talking about Marino.
Yeah, because I think it was a goal. There was a chance that it was Marino did a line breaking pass that beat two players that were trying to press, that were kind of trying to squeeze him. And a lot of our players passed back in that situation. He did a pass to ØDEGAARD. ØDEGAARD just drops his shoulder, just completely beats his man, passes it to Eze, and Eze was it Eze shoot and then no this was Olympiacos, yes. So he passes it to Gyökeres. Gyökeres hits the goalkeeper and like goes it through his legs, it hits his legs and it spins, it bounces off the goalpost, and that's when Martinelli finishes.
By the way, that was that piece of action from Gyökeres, like that was sort of Gyökeres's mentality shining through though. But he's sort of bulliness, like I'm going to do whatever I can to try to get to goal sort of mentality is what created that goal. I obviously the pass you're outlining as well, but I think those are the type of things that from the Gyökeres point of view is what gives me confidence that good form is somewhere.
Well, my
around
problem is
20.
that should just go at the back of the net.
I know, but sometimes it's just, you know.
I'm sorry, I'm very harsh. Very, very
I know
harsh.
you're harsh. Look,
I'm harsh because of the.
I'm not going to always agree with you, and you're not always going to agree with me. That's why we do a podcast. Otherwise, this would be very boring.
No, I'm telling you, I'm aware that I'm being harsh. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I'm not just here saying like, you know, I understand that obviously you're reasonable. I think it's what you're saying is extremely reasonable, and I'm telling you I'm being harsh. But the reason I'm being harsh is because I signed one of the best strikers in Europe, and I need you to score. So I need you to score that goal because he's going to get those chances.
I know the logic. You know, for everybody who follows me and my work, I've been pulling no punches when it comes to Isak.
Yeah.
So like, but which is why it's funny because like I want to bring up Sweden's woes so badly because it translates as well to Isak, but I'm like, but my boy's in there as well. Yeah. Like at least Isak is creating chances. Like Isak didn't get on the score sheet, but he was clearly their most influential player in both those games.
The chance he created for this guy who plays for Tottenham, that kid, what's his name?
Bergvall.
That I literally swore at the screen. I don't support Sweden. You know, I want
to see them in the World Cup. Like.
I don't really care, but when I see
for me the World Cup, I want to see some of the greatest players in the world. Like some of the greatest players in the world don't get put onto that stage, and then people, the casual football watchers, never get to see them play. So it's almost like they don't exist.
I mean, it's not like Eucharist and them man was going to do anything special with the way they were playing anyway, to be honest. But what I was going to say is, I get really annoyed when I see professional footballers like just not do the thing. So like Bergvall, like just miss hitting an empty net, and like that was like that set.
Did you see the one by Jökers? By the way, he hits it into the ground and it like ping pongs off of 3 players and goes over the bar. And like at the moment as well, I'm finding it pretty comical that Isak is also really struggling in front of goals. Like Liverpool fans have yet to admit to it, but like nothing is coming off for him. Like he's got the worst luck right now in his attacking approach as well. So it's like the two of them are dragging each other down together. So you know,
at least Isak has repertoire in the Prem. Gyökeres doesn't. So I don't think it's like outside the realm of possibility that Gyökeres never kicks on. I think that's a reality.
Let's not put that in the universe.
That's a reality. That's a reality. He could just be shit in this league. And it's not something I want. I want him to start scoring goals, which is part of the reason why I'm very harsh. But anyway, moving on.
We'll move on. So I'll just go on to some of the rest of our performances. Let's just skip through the ones where they play 90 minutes. This was an unused sub. Let's see. Marino and Zubimendi start for Spain. I'm pretty sure Zubimendi was the man of the match. By the way, Raya was an unused substitute. That's still
Raya not
rubs you the wrong way. How does he not start for Spain? It must
make any sense. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's not just that, but like Spain are a possession-based team, so you would keeper like Raya suits you to the ground. Like it doesn't make sense even tactically.
At this point, this guy would probably start playing before him.
Yeah. Norgard played 90 minutes, which I think is that's noteworthy. Belgium beat Wales. Wales have hit the back end of a couple of Arsenal players. Trossard scores a goal against Wales. I think that was yesterday. So Brazil played Japan in Tokyo, and Gabriel Martinelli scored. And that's going to be a long trip back. And then, Eze scored against Latvia today. Yes, Brazil did win. Okay. And then Marino scored the double today. So, that's sort of just our overall international performances. I think the ones that encouraged me the most is Bukayo Saka coming back into form. I think Martinelli scoring is actually pretty notable. I think playing for Brazil is a big, you know what I mean?
Literally everyone had really positive impacts except Gyökeres.
Well, and Norgard. Norgard was like played 90 minutes, but he hasn't played the whole season, so it's like good for him. You know what I mean? But
did they win or lose?
Denmark. Let me go back to check on those. The first game Denmark played, they won 6-0.
Jeez.
And the second one they played, they won 3-1 against Greece. Yeah.
Okay, so he's winning. So, um, yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
we
let's.
might as well move on to the main course that we plan on for today, with the title of the show. So kick us off here, Cal.
Yep. This is the Semenyo and YILDIZ section. I just wanted to talk about some of. We're not really getting linked necessarily to these players, but it's they're being talked a little bit about in terms of players. I think there was a rumor that
I think
like
they've been linked. I think that a lot of people have said that Arsenal are very much.
there's like little rumblings, not real big links, rumblings that you know Bert is a fan of Semenyo, and I think there was also a rumor that we sent out scouts to Juventus to take a look at YILDIZ.
Yeah.
And they're both, players that we're considering. They're both wingers, and we're both. I think if either one of them were to get into Arsenal, it would be on that left-hand side. And I think.
Well, I think that was the point we were more bringing up about, Odegaard's injury, which kind of led us into this, so.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, whether Odegaard was fully fit or not, I think we could do with someone that levels up our left hand side, And right now the rumblings have only been about YILDIZ and Semenyo. In terms of, we all know that Semenyo has been playing extremely well in the league thus far. He's kind of gone up a level this season. Obviously, I think he has the second most GA in the league behind Haaland. And
yeah, he's got 9 GA.
Yeah,
and you want to bring up the facts here for Semenyo?
Are we doing Semenyo or YILDIZ first? Which one do you have first?
Well, you were just talking about Semenyo, so.
I
wanted to start out with YILDIZ, to be honest, because I think it's more of a player that people are not as familiar with.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I've been doing some research on YILDIZ.
So.
I went back into the archives, and because it's the international break, I went back and watched quite a bit of his games, and just focusing on him, really watching his gameplay. And yeah, dude, this kid, I think he has the potential to be world class. And the reason why I say he has the potential to be world class is when I'm looking at a player, obviously dynamism. Yeah, it's something that I look at, but also I'm looking at your intelligence on the pitch. One thing that I can tell straight away about YILDIZ compared to our players that we currently have, he's constantly scanning, he's constantly looking up, he's dribbling, he's making his footballing IQ is immense in terms of his ability. His decision making is elite in terms of he knows when to cross, and he's really good at crossing the ball, which is something that we like. He's very, very good at his link up play is amazing. His ability to find a through pass is good. You know what I'm saying? And he also has a little bit of dynamism in him.
Dynamism.
Yeah. Jesus. And he can beat his man, he can drop a shoulder. I think the only flaw to his game is sometimes I feel like he can lose the ball sometimes when he's trying to beat a man, and sometimes I feel like he's not.
I don't think that's a problem. I actually like that in a player, because it means he's taking the game on.
Well, to be honest, what my follow-up point is, I feel like he should be more aggressive. So what I'm saying is he's not attacking his guy every single time, and that's why he loses a lot. But when he does actually beat his person, because his decision making is so elite, when he gets past his guy, he's always making the threat becomes a clear-cut chance. So that's the thing with him, and he's raw. He's very raw. I think he's only 20 years old, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, a lot of room for development, and I think Juventus want 80 million for him minimum if they were to sell him. I think that
he's 20 years old. Yeah.
Yep. And I think they're trying to convince him to sign an extension for his contract, because right now he's getting paid peanuts.
I mean, I wanted to kind of ask you how you would see him fit in this Arsenal team? Because for me,
Oh,
I was watching.
I think he'd be perfect for. I think he'd be perfect for us.
So,
I
so
think
for me,
when
I
I'm
was.
watching his game, like when I'm watching him play, I think he will come into this team and just work. Because what? Okay, why I say that? First of
Mm,
all, we need our wingers to be extremely creative. They just do, because a lot of our
mhm,
creativity comes from the wing play, and he can do that. His ability to find people in the box, and he's he's not someone that just runs like say Madueke and uh Martinelli. They kind of, if they beat that guy, they're gonna blindly either try to cut back or blindly
mm,
cross into the box. This guy, he doesn't blindly do anything. Like he's like Saka. He will um he, to be honest, I think he scans even more than Saka in terms of, I don't see him blindly crossing into the box. When he's crossing into the box, there's a target. He's aiming for someone there. And when he cuts back, he's cutting back to someone. It's like ball to feet cut back. It's not cut back, someone should have been there. He's looking up, cutting back, someone's there. And
mm,
I think that's exactly what we need, to be honest. We need that. And also he has his ability to strike the ball
mm. I noticed
really
that
good,
when I was watching today.
very good. So when he's able, he's aggressive. He takes a shot, like Trossard takes a shot. So he takes shots way more than Martinelli does in terms of from that, like the edge of the 18. He's willing to take those shots if he's given the time and space. So that in terms of, and that's why I'm saying his IQ is extremely high in terms of, he
Mm,
crosses, he cuts back, he takes shots, like, and I think, yeah, man, like he's like he will come into this Arsenal team and he'll change our lives.
mm.
You'll see,
Yeah.
because
So
it's
I
all
was
about the
watching.
decision making for me.
Yeah, I was watching. I mean, obviously, I've not watched this player. I've never watched this player play live. To be honest, I was watching just a bit of a documentary-ish, like a breakdown on the player today. And so yeah, I was seeing, by the way, that this whole video was based on the fact that the Juventus fans, for instance, make a lot of comparisons to Alessandro Del Piero with Kenan Yildiz.
What,
So
really?
yeah, so
They are
like
comparing him to Del
usually
Piero.
scary. You see some of the actions that Del Piero played as at the similar age, like where that time when Juve had all their issues and they were relegated and they had to come back and the whole squad was like wiped clean and they basically had to like start from the academy players really only, and Del Piero was the standout player, and like that's kind of when he came in, like starting to like his kick off his career, and a lot of the similar sort of tricks bag I would use. That's the kind of words we use in America, like the bag that he has.
Yeah,
Very similar.
that's a
You can put
basketball thing.
them side to side, highlights of Yildiz and highlights of Del Piero, and it's scary. But what the big thing that I picked up from what I was watching with Yildiz is a few things. Number one, they threw him in there when the team, like Juventus has been struggling overall recently. For those, like, it's fallen to the radar, but they have. And they played a really important Champions League match last year against Dortmund. And he came on towards the end of the game and he took it, and he literally in the crucial moment came in there, young kid thrown in the fire, and he scored the winner. He carries the way he carries himself reminds me of somebody who he carries himself like a top level player, like a Cristiano Ronaldo. Like his sort of body language is a very, very confident. He's got like that talismanic sort of
Mm.
traits that I noticed out of him. The one thing that I would be concerned about would be our ability, like, to prize him away from Juventus, because it feels like Juve see him as their talisman of the future. Like they want to build that their future around this kid. But yeah, again, a lot of stuff that you outlined. His dribbling is insane. He's great. I feel like he thrives. Again, I'm not an expert like you, so maybe that's showing up as well. But from what I saw, like he thrives off of the counter attack. He's really clinical on in the counter attacking areas. Yeah, and he's got great. He's got great dribbler, fantastic. Again, the shots from distance. I think this is someone who is going to be one of the best players in the world. Like it's just sort of like being so young and just having that attitude, that body language of a
It's his
top level
age.
player.
It's his
Do you
like
feel that way about him?
yeah,
Like
people
he
aren't
has
like
this
that at
body
this
language
age.
of a top level player.
At this age, and this like I was watching like games with him. He's playing against Dortmund.
Yeah, the
He
Dortmund
playing
I was
against.
talking about.
Oh no, like they played Dortmund this season
Oh, okay.
as well, and I think they lost like 4-2, and he's the
Mm.
guy that kind of he scores a goal for them and he assists for them as well. So he was like the guy literally doing everything. To be honest,
Mm.
they'd probably win more games if they just played through him a bit more. To be honest, they don't
He
play
seems
through him enough, in my
player though,
opinion.
which is what's interesting to me. I was looking at him playing, and I'm like trying to envision like how he fits, like for instance, along Saka. So I was seeing that he plays a lot as well in the 10. So there's actually a lot of similarities between Yildiz and Semenyo in terms of their ability to play, wear so many hats, and play in different positions.
But he's on that left wing,
Come
cutting in.
centrally, collect the ball centrally. Like there's also a bit of an Eze factor to him as
In
well.
terms of hybrid, yeah.
Yeah.
But I would want him. I would
players.
want him more on the left. I definitely would want him on the
That's
left.
where he fits into the team.
Mm.
So I guess it's sort of like having you got a Saka who's a sort of again, Saka is a good comparison here because he is the player that Arsenal obviously have to be that sort of kid who just came in. We gave him tremendous confidence from the jump, and he had this body language of a top level player and just became our best player. Like Aubameyang left, we all had that issues. And it's like, who is in this team is going to take on that role of being the leader, the talisman, especially in attack? And he was instant right away. Saka just took that responsibility on him. So it feels like having like a Saka from the opposite side for me,
I think
just in terms of, but it's also interesting, just sort of like the ego check here. So I just feel like Yildiz just feels like he's Juve's guy. I just kind of
I think in terms of ego check, yes, he is their best player in my opinion, but it's not like they're constantly just trying to give him the ball all the time. I think they have like Cambiasso is on the ball a lot. I mean, Conceição is also someone that plays for them who's really good.
Mm.
So it's not like their team's full of scrubs either. And a lot of the times, I've seen them try to win games and they don't really use him as much as I would even like. Sometimes they're not even getting the ball to him as much as I would want to him. So it's not like he's not like someone who demands the ball all the time or anything like that. So I think
one thing that I like though here is that look at his heat map right here. Most of the red spots are on the left hand side. So his average position fits perfectly into how we would probably want to utilize it.
Exactly.
Yeah. The other player obviously we want to talk about is, and everyone, it's funny. Again, I was watching another piece on him today as well, just to kind of just have a refresher. Like I've watched him play plenty of times, but it's just very interesting to see his development in such a short period of time. He's really come onto the stage last year, and it's interesting how like I can see now why they retained him. They wanted to make sure that they kept him, but so much of him like turning into a big time player had to do with how they kind of utilized Kirkes and Huijsen last year. Like, and you're like, what, the defenders? But they used to play long balls to Semenyo, like, and he would be sort of like a target man for their getaways. And the way that they also utilized Kirkes, which, by the way, watching back Bournemouth's last year with how they utilize Kirkes is basically telling me Liverpool do not use him at all correctly. So they're using Kirkes more as a traditional fullback. Kirkes is basically the left winger for Bournemouth. So Huijsen would get the ball, he would lift the ball over to Kirkes, who would collect, and Kirkes and Semenyo would basically link up together and create chances. And it was kind of just the way that.
So Kirkes is more of a left wing back than a left back. You're saying?
Yeah,
like
definitely. Yeah. Which which is, I don't want. I'm really threatening to get off topic here, but this is why the way Liverpool built their defense this summer makes zero sense to me, because then you got basically two fullbacks who want to go all the way deep. But the thing is, so Semenyo used to be used as strictly a right winger. So we're getting back to Semenyo here. He used to be used completely as a right winger, and he had some good games, some outputs on the right wing, but he didn't start to explode until he started giving Semenyo the freedom to move to the left-hand side of the pitch whenever he wanted to. And some of Semenyo's best goals last season and this season actually came from his left position. So he does start out on the right officially, but he goes out to the left on many options. So they obviously got David Brooks as well, who also likes to play off both sides. So Brooks can come to the right and play very comfortably off the right too. So, and as well, they've used Semenyo again in central positions now. He's becoming a little bit more of an Eze clone in terms of he's able to pick the ball up in the middle. And what I love is that they have reformulated. So they have this they used Huijsen and Kirkez as sort of like that platform to help bring Semenyo last year. Lost both those players in the summer. They've completely redeveloped that area, and Semenyo has changed his game completely. He's picking the ball up from deep. He's playing in the 10. He's popping out on the left-hand side. He's pumping on the right-hand side. And what's also very, very impressive for me is if you look at the goals he scored. So yeah, he has got 9 GA this season. I think 6 goals, 3 assists in the Premier League this year, which is second to Haaland. But he's scoring free kicks. He's scoring penalties. He's beating his man from the left and putting him scoring some of these world goals.
I mean, we saw those goals against Liverpool. Those were
goals against Liverpool. Again,
goals, bro.
What really stuck out to me, especially his opener against Liverpool, is that Van Dijk and the other defender in it, Kirkez, of all people, right? They have their backs turned to Semenyo. They're paying attention to Brooks, who has the ball on the right-hand side in that scenario. And it's just Semenyo's ability to get into the position, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he beats Van Dijk to the spot. So before Van Dijk can even look around, Semenyo's actually gone across him, gotten in front of him, and put the ball in the back of the net. It's that sort of desire to get into the right spots, which really impresses me. So this is someone who's, again, growing talismanic traits. So what's going to be interesting about both of these two players for me is how their role and how they would fit into Arsenal, or if they may maybe be suited more to a team that wants to give them more responsibility. Because we've got now we got Eze in this team. So imagine having an Eze, a Semenyo, and a Saka all in the same team, all with talismanic traits, all players who you want to play through. Again, it makes us very dynamic, but it'll just be interested to see how that works. Cal, what do you think? Obviously,
well, my only question is, how would he play starting on the left? If he starts on the left for us every game, and he's not going to have that much freedom to drift. Then again, we did see Saka and Eze drift a little bit, interchange a couple of times. We haven't seen it much, but that's something that we saw them do. Will Saka do that with Semenyo if he comes in?
The Saka part is the interesting part, because Saka likes to stay fixed to the right, but the Eze part of it works perfectly, because what does Eze like to do? Drift central, drift left. The two of them can swap in and out and pop up all over the shop. So Semenyo can come and collect the ball centrally, and Eze will just be more than happy to drift to the left and offer threat down the left, and vice versa. The only part about it is one thing, actually, I have seen Saka pop up on the left. We mentioned that earlier, playing for England. So maybe in that sort of way, you kind of got 3 attackers who can just constantly be switching around and popping up in different positions and confusing defenses and making it very hard to plan for us. So that is an element that I think Semenyo could bring. I think it's something that YILDIZ would bring. So I think that's kind of what Arsenal is missing at the moment, which is why maybe it's probably, I think it's mostly because we're talking about the void that Odegaard is leaving out, because he's injured, but as well, Odegaard might be back before the break. But it's only that the idea that we could have this really fluid front three behind Victor or whatever, a supporting three behind Gyökeres who can just pop up everywhere and score goals, provide goals in such a different variety of ways. It would be a headache for teams that plan against Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right in terms of that dynamism and the ability to interplay between our three players that isn't Gyökeres. So what you're saying, it'd be like a 4-2-3-1.
It would have to be a 4-2-3-1. There's no way that I mean Eze could, but like take a look at the heat map, by the way. I'm gonna try to zoom in more on because I think Semenyo's heat map is really okay, maybe I went too far into this. That's just the qualifiers for Senegal there. That was where is Premier League? Here we go. So look at this heat map here, yeah? Look where he pops up. He literally pops up everywhere. He's got heavy reds on the right, on the left. He's got some reds on the right. And again, it's sort of like in that Saka area where he picks up the ball near midfield.
Actually, around
look
the 18.
All the red dots in the center. Look how he moves off near left back.
He plays a lot. He plays a lot on that left-hand side. Like, look at that spot on the 18, that big red dot. That's exactly where we want our left winger to be. And that's where he kind of prefers to pick up the ball. Sometimes he picks it up on the halfway line on the right. But that spot in the 18, well, not on the 18, but that left-hand side, right outside the 18, that's where he likes to sit. Okay.
Yeah. So, well, look, again, I don't know how realistic it is for either of these two players. Well, the link there. Ben Jacobs mentioning the other day of a release clause, but without a number. So we're literally just mentioning that he has a release clause. Bournemouth has said that they want somewhere upwards of £100 million. So that's going to be the other stumbling block in here. But yeah, really interesting thoughts on potential places we can add.
Yep. And to be honest, I wanted to finish up on my next point, but before we get into that, even though that links better into this, I think we should probably just talk about the run-in terms of the next two games. I think it'll be good to kind of just talk about our lineups, because we kind of did talk about the games in terms of the Fulham and Crystal Palace games that we have coming up. No, is it Fulham and Crystal Palace? No, Fulham and
Atletico Madrid.
Atletico Madrid. Crystal Palace is after that. In terms of how would you start those games in terms of the lineup?
I think those are two very different games. Like, one is a European tie against a team that's very pragmatic, and the other one is away from home in the Premier League against a side that we should be beating and having in the control over, or like against. The way I think Eze plays a crucial role into the Fulham game. Like, for instance, if you started Moreno in the 10, that wouldn't really work well for me. I would generally probably go Trossard, Eze, Saka, Rice, Zubi, with Gyökeres up top, obviously. But here's the interesting part to this one, Cal, is I feel like this is the part of the season where Nkapie is going to start to get integrated in the team. So he's going to be back. Apparently, he's already going to be back ready to train. He didn't have to go play for Ecuador at all. So this is an element still to the team that is completely an unknown. The impact that he can make, it's completely. I don't know enough how to explain it where people will understand. You're just going to have to see it happen when it happens. But he is just a presence out on the left-hand side. He's quick. He's versatile. He's strong. Like, he is an elite defender opposite Jurrien Timber. And he adds an extra bit of width and dynamism as a left back. So it's like a bomb that Arteta can drop into this team. And I'm really interested to see when he wants to deploy that, at what point, because I want to see it. At some point, you're going to have to see it.
You can't stop talking about Nkapie.
I just can't. but it's because I'm very excited. Look, one thing that's even more exciting is he hasn't played yet. So people think, oh, we've figured out what Arsenal's going to look like this season. But Nkapie is like a total different kettle of fish that no one's seen yet. An element to Arsenal that is not normal at this football club. He's a different type of player. He's going to stand up.
Flops, you're in the mud. You're in the mud if he flops.
No, this is something that
you talk about Nkapie like how I was talking about Eucharist, but Eucharist is a striker though.
Yeah, this is something I'm going to implement now in my own content, which allows me to do stuff like this. So, Colin Cowherd does this thing where he goes, "Where Colin was right, Colin was wrong." I'm going to start doing where Anton was right, where Anton was wrong, which it's going to allow me to say what I want to say without fear of the hit back. And if I'm wrong, I'll be like, where Anton was wrong. And then, I fully admit it and we move on. Like, I'm not so afraid to say the way I
being wrong. Who cares about if you're wrong or not? But it's just like, you're gassing this guy up. Like he is going to but he's a left back. But like, I know that he's good, but in my mind, it's a left back. It's not going to completely transform the way we play football. It's fine.
Look, it depends again how Arteta uses him. But if he's anything like the Bayer Leverkusen player, the Ecuador player, then he adds a whole different dimension to Arsenal. I swear.
So what's your starting lineup versus Fulham?
Well, again, I could then mention it again: Gyökeres, Trossard, Eze, Saka, Rice, Odegaard. Zubi. And then I go Calafiori probably for now. Although, again, I would probably like to have Nkapie, but it's going to be Calafiori. And then, the regular Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, Raya. So your best starting 11 in the Champions League. I think it's going to be different because of Simeone, and it's going to be a chess match. I couldn't even predict to you the lineup because it's going to be something weird. But it's not going to be as straightforward as what I'm saying about for Fulham.
I think it's probably going to be a very similar lineup to the two games. I think. Okay. I think we see, which is something I think I agree with. I think we're going to see Gyökeres up front. This is against Fulham. We're going to see Gyökeres up front because he's just going to continue to be there. And then we're going to see Trossard. To be honest, Trossard or Martinelli, I don't know who we're going to see, but I would pick Trossard. Trossard as a Saka, and as the pivot, Zubimendi Rice, and we're going to see, we're going to see Calafiori, but I want to see MLS. I would pick MLS.
I think MLS played good today, by the way. Again, it was locked there, but I was really impressed with him.
So MLS, Gabriel, Saliba, and Timber on that right hand side, and I think we will just impose ourselves in the game. I think because we might see Moreno start. He's obsessed.
He might start against Athletic.
I think it might be the other way around. I think he might start Moreno against Fulham.
What we did against Forest.
Yeah, I think we start Moreno against Fulham, and then he might start Eze against whatchamacallit.
No, he gotta start both.
I feel like he's gonna
want Moreno against Fulham for what?
Actually, no, he will. You know why? You know why he's gonna start Moreno?
He needs to start.
He's gonna start Moreno against. He's gonna start Moreno against Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, that for me makes more sense.
Because Atletico Madrid, they're very good they're very good against set pieces in for like Atletico Madrid.
You remember your thought process behind Newcastle? Like you thought you were surprised that he didn't use Moreno against Newcastle. You thought that it was more that more suited the Moreno starting. That's kind of my feeling about Atletico Madrid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he just might go Eze anyway. Like, and just try to impose his will on the game. To be honest, I don't know what he's gonna do. I think what he should do is that he should play Eze as a 10 in both games.
Yeah. I mean, let's see, because it depends. If he plays against Fulham and he does what I think he will do against Fulham, which I think that he's the key cog here, because Odegaard is going to be out, and these are the type of games that you need someone who's going to break down. Where it's about us being on the front foot against teams that are stubborn and finding an avenue to create chances and break teams down. Mikel Merino starting in the 10 away at Craven Cottage does not achieve any of that. It just does not.
Yeah,
What are you
I think
doing?
I
What are you trying to achieve? We're
I think
Arsenal Football Club.
yeah, I
Like,
think we should approach
Atletico's
both
different.
games.
That's a
I
big
think we should
club.
approach both games exactly the same. And
Mm.
when I say that, I mean we should be imposing our will on the opponent. I don't think we
Yeah.
should be going for this
The thing is
big
though
break.
about Atletico though, that it's going to shock you when if that's the way you're talking about it. Atletico is probably the best pressing team I've ever seen, so they will press
Yeah,
us off the ball.
yeah,
They'll
yeah,
make it very uncomfortable. They'll put us in situations on the pitch that we're not going to be comfortable with. They have that's their elite capabilities of doing so. They did it to
it's,
Liverpool in that period of time when Liverpool 2-0 up and they made their way back in the game. They did it by basically pushing Liverpool off the ball at Anfield, and Liverpool had struggled to get back on it. That's why that was for like 30, 40 minute spell there. Atletico Madrid dominated the game at Anfield. Like, it
yeah,
wasn't just they scored 2 goals. They weren't out of the blue. They literally had that, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
you're going to
But
be surprised if
still,
you think that we're going to impose ourselves on Atletico.
well,
I think you might be disappointed there, my friend.
I'm not saying we will. I'm saying we must. We
Mm,
must at least attempt to,
yeah.
because what we're gonna be a counter-attacking team? Is that what we're gonna do?
No,
We're
no,
gonna
no,
sit
no.
back.
What I'm saying is that we're not going to have it all
No,
our own way. We're not going to have.
no.
We're
When I
not going
mean
to. They're
impose
not going to
yourself,
allow us to have the ball for tremendous times, for huge chunks of time in the
oh,
game, and for allowed to. You know what I mean? They're going to try to just push us out of our positions. They're going
and
to try
they
to rattle us.
try. They can try, but whether they're successful is a completely different
Yeah.
story.
Look,
I
Diego
think
Simeone does that better than
te-
any manager in the
teams
world, to be honest. So
do a lot of things. You know, against when they played against Real Madrid, I'm pretty sure Real Madrid had most of the ball. They just beat them. You know,
mm,
on the counter attack and beat them with set pieces.
mm,
They scored like 3 set pieces and like the 4. I think they won 4-2. I think they
mm,
scored like 3 set pieces, man. So,
yeah.
um, I respect Atletico, but I don't think we should be trying to counter what they're doing. I think we should be playing our football. That's how we win, you know.
I
I
think
think
it's
we
going to
should
be it's a very interesting match. I've never even thought about it like what that would look like, Arteta versus Simeone. The styles
yeah,
are so similar.
yeah.
Like, it's going to be just I'm just of course I'd rather watch a match like this where my team isn't involved, because I could just sit back and just have my curiosities be answered. But now, of course, we've got, our own stake in this. So
Mm,
it's going to be fun, but at the same time, it's going to be a bit, you know, yeah, we got something on the line for us. So
yeah, yeah. And
some of these
yeah,
games, even after that,
so I
Crystal Palace.
yeah, so that's
But
not the easiest running. I
yeah,
don't think Fulham, Atletico, Crystal Palace is like these
no,
breeze
no,
of
no.
games. It's just
I
not.
like it to be a little bit challenging,
Yeah,
because that way Arsenal doesn't sleepwalk through it or come into this thing playing in first gear and taking our opponents for granted. Like, we're not going to be caught napping in these types of matchups. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think we're ever going to be caught napping. To be honest,
We have a history of it. We do,
not
especially.
not last couple of years. I don't think. I think the
Mhm,
last couple of years we just failed to. A lot of the times we failed to break teams down, but I don't think it
mm,
was via lack of intensity or anything like
mm.
that. To be honest, I would have preferred to have a couple of easy games in a row after the international break just to give us momentum. I think we are very
They're
momentum
manageable.
based.
They're not.
Yeah,
They're not easy, but they're manageable.
yeah, they're manageable, and and we should be winning them. But
Mm,
you know, I think yeah. So I think if we come out of these 2 games with wins, dude, I think that'll set us up for the rest of the year to go on a bit of a winning streak. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
And just to kind of wrap it up as we're an hour and 40 minutes in. Um, one question that I suggested that I wanted to talk about is Do you think that Arsenal are going to actually spend money in the January transfer window? We spent a pretty lengthy bit of time talking about YILDIZ and Semenyo and what they do for the team and stuff like that. But do you actually think that we're going to spend money after the summer that we've had?
There's so many different factors that play into this. Like, is ØDEGAARD healthy? Is Madueke healthy? Like, is Havertz back healthy? If the answer to all of those things is yes, I can't find a reason to see that why we would, because we're so the fridge is so well stocked. So one thing that I actually wanted to look at, we never got to do it, enough time to do it in the show, which is compare YILDIZ and Semenyo to Martinelli and Trossard, like, and how obviously like Semenyo is going to blow those boys out of the water in terms of his stats because he's more important to them than they are for us. But I think from our perspective, if like Eze and Odo are both fit, Eze is your starting left winger, and then you got Trossard and Martinelli behind him. It's more about like does he sell anybody in January to make up that room in that squad, because it's so cool. So Jesus is one that you can think that obviously really think of.
I think it 100% depends on whether we sell. We're not going to sell Havertz.
No, but maybe it's the more interesting thing about YILDIZ and Semenyo is more about in the summer coming up, and that depends if somebody pulls the trigger on either of them now or if they're available in January. I mean, in the summer, because in the summer I feel like maybe Havertz might feel like Gyökeres has come in here. I'm not no longer with the striker here. There's a chance for me to move on, maybe go to Germany, maybe play for our Bayern or something like that. Because there were a lot of rumors and stuff talking about that. You talk about what's the future of Trossard? Like, we haven't extended his years. We've given him the bump of the money. Maybe Trossard moves on. Maybe Martinelli moves on because he wants to.
Yeah, but that's a summer though.
But what I'm saying is that there's more movement and stuff for us to invest in a Semenyo and stuff for them to guarantee them a big role in the Arsenal team. But the reason why we might spend is, again, the other thing is outside of Arsenal, it's external, which is, where are we in the title race? What does Liverpool do? Does Liverpool add? Does Manchester City add? Do we have a response to that? Because it is become an arms race as much as it is a title race. Like, before the title began, it was like, who did Arsenal buy? Who did Liverpool buy? Who did City buy? Who had a better squad? We're sort of like changing the positions of, we bought Eze, or they bought Isak. It was like we're constantly like trying to one up each other, and that could continue on in January. Like, the only reason why Gahey is not at Liverpool now is because the clock ran out, and that they could not purchase it because Palace couldn't find a replacement. So like they kind of ran out of time there. But it's something that they're definitely going to try to get to revisit in January for sure. So
I don't think
fix their biggest issues and see like.
No, I don't think what anyone does affects how we do business. It never has.
Do you think
I think there's a plan in place, and I think there's certain dominoes that need to fall, and if they don't fall, we don't spend. I think it's really that simple. I don't care if Liverpool goes out there, gets Gahey, Rodrigo, and Haaland in the January transfer window. I don't think we would change our strategy. I think they are very organized, and they have like game plans and contingencies and all these things, and it's all about Arsenal. They don't look at what other people are doing. They just don't. The only time they look at
position.
The only time they at what other people are doing is when they're trying to find like a market opportunity or something like that. When something pops up, I think Madueke was a market opportunity in terms of they realized that the deal could be had very easily there, and they valued the player, so they were able to pull that trigger extremely quickly and efficiently. So I think that's where external influences kind of affect us. Or if someone like, say, comes in for Jesus, I think we spend. But if we don't make any sales and no one's interested in our players, maybe someone is now interested in Trossard or interested in Martinelli or something, I think that's when we pull the trigger and we actually go and get and we would get like a Semenyo. Or, to be honest, I'm not sure if
Semenyo, by the way, is he's playing so well at Bournemouth right now Like,
okay,
would he
they want
would he
100
throw
million,
his
bro.
season off by making us that sort of switch? You
Oh,
know
he
what I
would.
mean?
He's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
Not like he said it's like it was like one of his
Yeah, of
dreams to play
course.
for Arsenal.
Yeah, yeah.
Like so I think Semenyo is about the money. I think
Mm.
YILDIZ is also about the money. To be honest, I've been seeing us linked to Aguime instead as well as a
Agreement,
so that's something that we're looking um at taking a look at, which is something I think we might do that just because of Odegaard's injury riddled season this season. So if Odegaard just isn't up to scratch, and I think we probably just get an Aguime. But unless we sell Jesus and maybe someone else, I don't think we're going to do anything in this January transfer window.
yeah. I kind
That's
of feel
all.
the way as well. I think for me, my sole focus will be our games. That's one thing that's different between the January window and the summer window. Summer window, like you got no games and you're like refreshing Twitter all the time, and you getting really like into the transfers. Where sometimes I just kind of wish that there wasn't a January window. Sometimes, like I just think it's just like I like to have the fact everyone's got the same squad for the whole year. Let's just kind of go.
The January transfer window is cool.
Yeah.
I think it's only been stressful for the last couple of years because both our January transfer windows we didn't get anyone for the last two windows, and we were doing shit at the time at both times. So the last January transfer window, obviously we like our players were dropping like flies and we weren't buying anyone. And the window before that was before we went to Dubai, and we were playing like shit because we only started to play well after.
But then the
the
before that, if you remember, was the year that was it that one or the year before that? That was one that where Jesus got hurt and we are trying to find a striker. We never did. Though that was the year that we almost bought Modric. That was 3 years ago. And we got Jorginho and Trossard that summer. But
yeah,
not January.
which is actually a lot compared to the 0-0 for the last two.
Yeah.
Be a triple.
Anyway, guys, this is we've come to the end of the show. We're at 1 hour and 48 minutes.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, Cal's going to be going off to Japan. So we have yet to decide what we're going to do with the podcast while Cal's away. I'm going to try to find somebody who can fill his boots for a short period of time while Cal enjoys his time in Japan. Of course, Cal ain't going anywhere when he comes back. Who will be back? The Fire the Cannons podcast will be just as you love it and know it. But yeah, I wish you a really good journey, my friend.
Yeah, man. It's gonna try relax, enjoy it, and hopefully Arsenal don't get me upset during my trip. And even if they do, I'd be on vacation, so I'll just turn it off and do something else.
It's one of the good parts about being on vacation. Anyway, guys, as Cal mentioned at the start, hit those QR codes. This will subscribe you to HotSport. This will subscribe you to CalGunner TV. Yeah, so look, the channel has grown. We're doing collaborations now with the Football Terrace. So we can thank you very much as well with Terry for that one. So yeah, until next time, guys, enjoy the weekend's games. I will do my best to find a suitable replacement for Cal. So we'll be back, just not necessarily the show that you in the way that you generally know it. It might be a little bit different. But yeah, until then, guys, peace out. Anton and Cal out.
See ya.